Several Baltimore area school districts have announced masking in schools will become optional. These decisions come after a group of Maryland lawmakers voted to lift the mask mandate in schools statewide. WMER2 News' Ray Strickland joins us live now. So, Ray, it was a pretty decisive vote to lift the mandate.
Yeah, Kelly, it was an overwhelming 17-1 vote to lift the mask mandate statewide. And now it's up to local school leaders to decide on what to do next. As you mentioned, several districts have already decided on an optional policy, and we expect to learn what more districts will do soon.
It's finally a decision for the children.
The mask mandate in schools statewide has officially come to an end. A group of lawmakers voting to lift the mandate, and they're now leaving it to local school districts to decide what to do moving forward.
They listened to the parents, finally.
Amy Tanner, a parent of 4 Anne Arundel County school kids, calls the decision a victory for not only parents and students, but a victory for choice as well.
It's a victory for if you would like to still wear a mask, you're able to wear a mask. If you're uncomfortable wearing one, you don't have to wear one.
At least 4 local school districts will allow masks to be optional. In Howard County, they'll be optional starting Tuesday, with Hartford County waiting to make a decision until the next Board of Education meeting. As for Baltimore City Schools, its mask requirement will stay in place.
I'm very happy for the children.
But not everyone is happy with the decision, including this parent who testified before lawmakers voted.
All we have to protect our most vulnerable citizens. My 4-year-old puts on her little yellow mask to go to preschool with no issues. She even wears it properly, which is more than I can say for most adults.
And not long after the vote, the CDC updated its guidance, saying that healthy people in areas that pose a low or medium threat to hospitals can stop wearing masks, and that includes students in schools. Reporting live tonight in Baltimore, Ray Strickland, WMAR2 News.
You're not just sitting at home watching war on TV. You are really getting involved for Ukraine. WMAR2 News' Ray Strickland joins us live tonight from Canton with how a Ukrainian organization is stepping up to raise money for the families affected. Ray, tell us this great story, will you?
Yeah, Jamie, the Dnipro Ukrainian Club here in Canton will be holding a fundraiser tomorrow, hoping to raise money for families in Ukraine who have been forced to flee the country.
It's just the right thing to do, to step up and try and help people that are in need.
Zach Wenger is a member of the Dnipro Ukrainian Club in Baltimore. He and other members are preparing to hold a fundraiser to benefit the people of Ukraine.
It's really hard for us as Americans to put ourselves in their shoes. It's incredibly troubling, very sad.
It was just last week when Russia decided to invade the country. The death toll continuing to rise with more than 300 civilians killed. And according to the United Nations, that number is likely higher. Meanwhile, survivors are desperately trying to flee the country, and the Dnipro Club is hoping to raise money for families to relocate.
They can hopefully reconnect with loved ones, hopefully just try and help their situation.
Wenger says 100% of the proceeds will go to the UN Refugee Agency. Daryl Yurkevich personally delivered a donation to Wenger ahead of the fundraiser.
It's always good to know people are thinking about you and taking action to help you.
The Dnipro Club is one of many organizations doing what they can to help during the crisis.
It really hits close to home.
Maryland's United Help Ukraine created this Facebook campaign that's raised more than $3 million. Vlad Ovchinnikov says the organization will use the money to buy first aid kits for Ukrainians on the front lines. He says the support from around the world will help save lives.
The support from our fellow Americans and also from around the world has been unbelievable.
And back here at the Dnipro Ukrainian Club here in Canton, Wenger says they've already been receiving donations ahead of this fundraiser. Right now, they've already received around $1,300, and their goal is $5,000. So for more information on how you can help them and the United Help Ukraine organization, you can visit our website at WMAR2news.com. Reporting live tonight in Canton, Ray Strickland, WMAR2 News.
He died 2 weeks ago, and Gerard Jones' family still doesn't know why. It's because they say the medical examiner's office in Baltimore still hasn't performed an autopsy. The office is dealing with a backlog of bodies, and the Jones family is one of many waiting to bury their loved one because of it. WMAR 2 News' Ray Strickland joins us live right now at the Emmys office. And Ray, the family you spoke to, demanding them to release Jones's body.
And Jamie, they say what's happening here at the Office of Chief Medical Examiner is just unacceptable. And they say at this point, they don't even want an autopsy done on Jared. What they want is, as you said, for his body to be released to the family so they can finally give him the funeral he deserves.
Everyone loves Jared. There are so many people who are in pain right now.
Kim Jones is the aunt of Jared Jones. She says her nephew was the heart of the family.
He was just that type of person that people gravitated to, and they loved him because he had a loving personality.
But now Kim and the rest of the family are grieving his death.
He came over to his sister's house to visit, okay? From what I understand, he came in and he fell, but his sister was upstairs, and when she came down, I guess she tried to do CPR, and I guess they called the paramedics.
He was unconscious.
He was unconscious.
Jared's family says the 35-year-old father later died at the hospital, but why is still unknown. His body is now held up at the Office of Chief Medical Examiner in Baltimore due to a backlog of bodies awaiting an autopsy. The office made headlines last week after the state converted a downtown parking garage into a morgue to store some of the bodies.
Is he in the medical examiners? Is he on a parking lot? Where is he? No one's told us anything, you know? So it's real hard.
The health department blames staffing issues and an increase in deaths related to homicides and overdoses for the backlog. In response, the health department says it's hiring new positions, and FEMA sent additional support to the medical examiner's office to help clear the backlog as well. The chief medical examiner also resigned and has since been replaced.
What they're going through should not be on us, a grieving family. It's just not acceptable.
The Jones family is growing frustrated with the Emmys office because they say they haven't been given any answers on when Jared will be released to them. They've since created this change.org petition to bring attention to the case.
You cannot hold people's family members for weeks and weeks and almost a month and not release them to their family. And it's not fair and it's not right. If you don't have the manpower to do what you need to do, you need to release people's family members.
The family is hoping the Emmys office will release his body to them so they can finally lay him to rest and celebrate the life of a man who meant so much to them.
And we should not have to wait 30 days or more to do that.
And we did reach out to the health department about what's happening here, and we were told the Office of Chief Medical Examiner is being affected by the national shortage of pathologists. The health department says it's working on bringing on additional staff, and the department also says providing more support for this office is its top priority. Reporting live tonight in Baltimore, Ray Strickland, WMAR 2 News.
All right, on to gas prices. You know, sometimes you have no choice but to drive to work.
Yeah, especially if you drive a food truck for a living. WMAR 2 News' Ray Strickland with one business owner who is getting belted with blow after blow because of the prices.
It's been a lot of sleepless nights for the owner of One Pizza this since the beginning of the pandemic, and now with the cost of food and gas continuing to rise, she finds herself once again in survival mode.
We finally get a breath of fresh air, like the pandemic is coming to an end. We're going to all start back and everything's going to go back to normal, and then bam.
If it's not one thing, it's another.
We can't catch a break.
First the pandemic, and now an increase in food and gas prices.
You know, and we're taking a hit. Like, it's bad.
Rosa Gargano-Hagan owns 2 food truck businesses called Pasta La Vista Baby and One Pizza This.
As of right now, my gas prices just to fuel my truck to operate, it's going to probably cost me an additional about $500 every 2 weeks.
But that's only one of her concerns. She also says food costs is expected to rise more than it's already have.
It's gone up 20% just in the past 2 months, and with the food costs and with the fuel going up, we're at a no-win situation right now.
Gargano says she may have no choice but to raise her prices.
There's not many more ways we can get creative on the pricing without putting us, out of business.
For her, this is deja vu all over again because she didn't know if her business would survive the pandemic. And now, once again, she's facing an uncertain future.
We need to just try to keep moving forward and trying to save where we can, and that way we can protect ourselves and we can protect the consumer.
And Gargano says she's concerned about if raising her prices will turn customers away. She also believes the increase in gas prices could keep them home. It's a lose-lose situation for her that she hopes will get better sooner rather than later. Reporting in Anne Arundel County, I'm Ray Strickland, WMAR 2 News.